Okay, so they were the nice speeches, and now the one we've all been waiting for.
Do I need to sit down for this? I don't know, lie down, mate.
It's the best man, damn it.
Get ready. Passing your seatbelt.
Good afternoon, everyone. To be fair, looking at Holly and Steve, I'm not sure who's more nervous about me holding the microphone. Alright, okay. I'd like to start off by just thanking everyone for coming to make their day extra special. I know some of you have had to travel far to get here, so rest assured it is much appreciated. Thank you to Steve, Terry and the bridesmaid for making a speech. I know how hard it is to stand up in front of everyone, so well done, ladies and gents. Thank you to Steve and Holly for picking such a beautiful venue and inviting us here to share their big day with them. And lastly, thanks to me for making this big day possible. I will elaborate more on that later. Doesn't Holly look absolutely beautiful today? Never has a woman deserved a good husband as much as Holly does. So it's a good job you married her, Steve, before she met one. And the bridesmaids, ladies and gents, looking stunning in their dresses. Best man very seriously. You've all got fellas, so I won't finish that sentence. Let's not forget the groomsmen. They actually look like a bunch of lady killers. A mix between Saturday Night Fever and Pulp Fiction. I want to meet them in a dark alley, put it that way. When Steve first asked me to be best man, it was an emotional day, to be fair. I immediately dropped to my knees and I prayed. Why are you laughing? I prayed so hard, so hard for Liverpool to win the league. But I guess we'll have to settle for the League Cup and the FA Cup.
Wasn't the Champions League anyway.
Next thing, wait till you hear the next bit. Next thing I did was dig my suit out, which actually turned out to be full of moths. A bit like when Eric Ten Hag opens the Manchester United trophy cabinet. Never have I been so aware how outnumbered I am, or how many knives are in the room. I've been lucky enough to know Steve and Holly since before they got together. Steve and I met working in a bar in Sheffield called Crystal. We hit it. I knew there'd be a few hecklers in here tonight. We hit it off from the word go, and we became best mates pretty much overnight. Which was actually pretty weird, because when you look at it on the face of things, he was from Manchester and I was a scouser. Not to mention he supports United, which is a cardinal sin in any scouser's book. To be fair, every time I met up with him, when I was walking home, I had to do Hail Marys. I go to confession the next day. Now I like to think of myself as a bit of a modern day Cilla Black. Dashing Cupid, if you will. In the relationship between Steve and Holly, I lay claim to setting them up, which Steve vehemently denies, but let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I don't know what's coming next.
I'm just getting set up. I used to work the VIP lounge in Crystal, and Holly was my hostess. For quite some time, every Friday and Saturday she'd be stood at the bottom of the stairs that lead up to the bar. She'd be looking all glamorous, and Steve would make excuses to come up to my bar all night just to get a glimpse of Holly. It's not that cute, don't we? To be fair, I've never known a bar so well stocked in my life. Every half an hour, Steve would pop his little head up and go, "Danny, do you need any more ice?" And I'd be like, "Steve, Jesus Christ, let's ice sunk the Titanic then." Now, it wasn't unusual for me to ply the hostesses with drinks during a shift. It was a pretty boring job, and someone needed to brighten up their evening. Hand on heart, that was my only motive, genuinely. So each night I'd keep Holly stocked up on drinks, and when we finished work, a gang of us would go back to mine for a few more. Steve would always invite Holly. Now I'm saying this out loud, it actually sounds a bit predatory. It's taking wingman to a different level, isn't it? For the first couple of months, Holly had come back. I'd watch Steve's eyes light up and make sure his hair was okay and clean behind his ears. Maybe check he had a nodder. And off he went to play his trade, which, to be honest, must have been pretty abysmal, because for them first 2 months he always ended up in bed with me. So after a couple of hours or so, Holly would get up and leave. Steve would look over at me and he'd say, "Can I stay here tonight?" To which I'd always reply, "Only if I can be Big Spoon." Those were the golden days, when Holly had willpower and I had Steve. Eventually though, Holly's willpower caved. Either that or I started giving her stronger drinks, I'm not sure. And Holly and Steve embarked on their tale of romance. Now that wasn't the only period of time I've actually shared a bed with Steve. In fact, I'd go as far as to say Steve is the bloke I've shared a bed with most. There's nothing weird going on here, don't we? Which, if you've heard him snore, I actually think it's a miracle that we're still friends, let alone I'm studying making his speech. One last night, Steve. Was it alright? It was like sleeping on platform 9 3/4. Literally. I'm pretty sure the landlord in Sheffield had to get new windows, they rattled that much. I think it should be me stood there in that dress. I first met Steve's family during the World Cup 2010. Steve invited me to a party at his mum and dad's, which he always throws for the England games and the Euros and the World Cup, so I thought, absolutely, what could possibly go wrong? A Scouse Liverpool fan, off to the depths of Manchester, to a united family's house for a party where the main topic of conversation is football. So I packed my stab-proof vest and off I went. I remember bedding down for the night in the lounge with a friend of ours, Tom, and I looked at him and I said, "Right mate, we'll do this in shifts. You sleep for 2, I'll sleep for 2. We'll make it out of here alive. Don't worry." I met Steve's better looking older brother, Andy. I met Steve's better looking younger brother, Paul. I was also fortunate enough to meet Emma. And of course, I met Peter and Denise. I'll be honest with you, I really didn't know what to expect when I turned up at that house, but the welcome that I had was the most incredible, humbling experience I've ever felt. Your family, Steve, is absolutely salt of the earth, so where you went wrong, I've got no idea. Steve and I both studied the same degree at uni, law. To be honest, I wasn't expecting a laugh at that. By the time Steve actually finished his degree, I think he was classed as a mature student. The Mancunian Van Wilder. To be honest, I could have finished mine after year one. Being a scouser, I was only there till the right. It's safe to say that we did pretty much everything together during our years there. I was Steve's mentor, sports coach, fashion advisor, confidant, counsellor.
Yeah, most of that. Glad you agree.
The only one that really went wrong was the fashion. I mean, I know we're wearing matching outfits today, mate, but when we worked in the bar, I used to wear a waistcoat and tie. Steve soon followed suit. With the attire comes suit trousers and loafers. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Sheffield, it's pretty damn hilly, and it suffers some severe winters. One year, Steve and I finished work in the middle of February. The roads are covered in about 2 inches thick of ice. So we began ice skating down to the local club around the corner. I wasn't at work in men's club, Pete. A bit excited. Now, 1 minute I'm chatting away to Steve, the next, it was like he was auditioning for Cool Runnings. You remember that scene in Only Fools and Horses where he goes to lean on the bar? He vanished behind this wheelie bin and reappeared about 50 yards down the road. I just thought, Jesus, how's this happening? I tell you what, it's a good job this speech doesn't work both ways. Any slick jokes that were coming up then, we get lost.
Yeah, I wish I could use that one.
No, you can. The best outfit I've ever seen Steve wear, to be fair, was we went to watch Newcastle United play Sheffield United. Again, wasn't expecting a cheer off that, but I'll take it. Which, incidentally, was one of the best games of football I've ever been to. And we thought it'd be a laugh just to sit in the away end. We thought, you know, let's go sit with the Geordies and we'll see what happens. Steve rocks up like a cast member of Football Factory, wearing none other than a Parker jacket. At the time, I wasn't sure if he was going to glass me or break out into a rendition of Wonderwall. The Geordies looked at us and they asked, "Who do you support, lads?" Which seemed a bit weird, considering he was wearing a Parker jacket and I had the boiler suit on. I think in the whole time that I've been friends with Steve, we've only ever had one fallout. Now, being a scouser, I'm not very good with authority. You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
I know exactly where you're going.
Steve was in theory my supervisor for a short period of time. I say in theory because in my head I was the supervisor, manager and owner. And because I robbed the place blind. Steve had managed the main bar and I would deal with my own bar upstairs. And one evening, as I was finishing, Steve looked up at me and he went, "Would you mind mopping main bar?" And I looked at him and I'm not going to lie, I actually thought he was joking. It's like, is he taking the piss? Is that some sort of joke? Within 10 seconds of him asking me, I was in a black cab on my way back to mine and I texted him saying, "Don't ask me to do you any favours until Fergie retires." That's pretty much how it went. About half an hour later, Steve rocked up at my front door. And never ever have I seen a man's face the same colour as his hair. I looked him dead in the eye and I said, calm down, calm down. It was hard being a Liverpool fan, being mates with Steve during uni, to be fair. Steve's a proper United fan, you know, kind that doesn't live in Manchester. We'd go and watch the game together on a regular basis. He'd be jumping up and down, celebrating winning the league, while I'd be crying into me pint, wondering how much it'd cost to put a hit out on Roy Hodgson. Now, I've already put some money in your card, but I thought to myself, I got a knife. Slit that open.
Scouser asked for knives.
I thought to myself, what could I possibly get Steve and Holly that they can treasure for the rest of their lives? That might also remind them of me.
Oh, I don't even want to know what this is.
Nothing screams a lasting marriage more than matching pyjamas. Now, if I don't see you wearing that for your first dance, I'm going home. Holly, Holly, Holly. I'm in quite a unique position today as best man. I imagine it's quite rare that the best man has also been mates with the bride for a number of years. Secretly, I'm quite scared of Holly.
Aren't we all?
Maybe it's not such a secret. Steve must have asked me to pick my choices off the menu today about a dozen times. The minute Holly asked me, I offered to buy the food and cook it myself. It's been a privilege to be your mate over the years, Hol. And thank you so much for having so many fit mates. On that note, for those of you that don't know, I'm recently single, sophisticated, more money than sense. I've got a superior double bed over the road. And I'm not pussy. It's nearly over, Steve, don't worry. I'm here all night. Now for the serious bit. Mine and Steve's friendship was forged through adversity. Both of us were there for each other through the most difficult of times. Our friendship has stood the test of time. Doesn't matter if I haven't seen you for a week or a year, mate. We're still best mates. I would do absolutely anything for you. Except support you, United. You are the product of an incredible family, an honest upbringing, and nothing makes me prouder than to be stood here on your big day making this speech. I won't wish you luck for the future, you won't need it. I will miss you many happy times together, and for you to let Holly get at least one decent night's sleep a week. Maybe sleep on the patio or something. I love you both. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please raise our glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Holly Hunt Morton.